It's time for To the Max Sports, where we talk about sports. They're just two guys, Max and Drew, in a bar talking all things sports. Well, without the bar. And the beer. Wait, why aren't we in the bar?
Hello, folks, and welcome to the Flying Whippet Production Studios. I am Drew, along with my trusty cohort, Jeff Exler.
Sup?
Good to see you again.
How are you?
You make it by the skin of your teeth, but you make it.
It's weird. I thought I was leaving 30 minutes early. Got here right at the crack of 2 minutes till show.
Hey, at least you made it.
You know, I did. I used to have a person I work with on plane trips.
Yeah.
She used to tell me, if I'm not getting there as they're closing the door, I've wasted time.
That unseen voice you heard was Brother Bob, working the ones and twos. Good to see you, Brother Bob.
Howdy, howdy.
I got some breaking news. Today I reached out to a third-party intermediary friend of mine, a mutual friend, of I'll just say, basketball legend X.
Wow.
Member of the top 50 all-time greatest basketball players to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to send him a video of this, and we've asked if he could come on and do a live interview on our little show.
Should I start guessing?
No.
Okay.
Because you'll probably guess it.
I was just going to guess dead people. I was going to make it funny.
Well, no.
Oh, okay, never mind.
He's alive and well. One of the things about this guy is he was truly a blessing to the game of basketball. But not only that, he's just a good guy away from the game, one of the most gracious men you'll ever meet. And
So it's not Michael Jordan
it's not Michael Jordan, but that's a good guess.
or Dennis Rodman.
Wow. No. But anyway, he's a great guy. I'm going to send him a text after this. I'd love to hear from him because, you know, it's just cool to hear from people that played the game way back when.
Mm-hmm.
Back when it was a different game, totally.
Yeah.
Before the 3-point rule, because we're going to narrow down this pool.
When was the 3-point? When did that get instituted?
70s?
Depends what league you're talking about, ABA or NBA.
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 But he did play in the ABA.
It was after the merger, so 78 maybe.
Okay, so let's just put it this way. When he wanted to light it up, he went off. And we're excited. Hopefully he'll see the show and say, you know what, I'll come in and answer you knuckleheads.
79.
Questions you have.
79.
79.
Yep. So, well, since we're on NBA.
Yeah.
Let's do some
Did you
NBA.
watch any games this week?
A few, but I've been pretty busy.
The NBA post All-Star break has just been chock full of awesome games.
Yeah.
I mean, really great, competitive, down to the wire basketball games.
Unless you're a Nets fan.
Oh my God, they're in deep
So let's
doo-doo.
36 points. That's what they lost to the
They're in
Raptors?
trouble. I mean, the first question, if you're going to talk NBA, is who's in bigger trouble, the Nets or the Lakers? Both of those teams
Oh my God, I think that's a push.
were highly favored to represent their conference in the NBA Finals this year, East and West respectively. Neither team looks like they're worth a damn right now, number one. Number two, the Lakers might not even make the damn playoffs.
Yeah, who'd have thought that?
And if the Nets don't get A, healthy Kevin Durant back, B,
He's coming back tonight.
a few laws lifted so that Kyrie Irving can play some games, and C, Ben Simmons just show up, well, they're up the creek without a paddle. And believe me, when the odds came out on who was going to win the NBA championship just before the opening of the season, I was like, you can't put the odds too high for the Brooklyn Nets because their collection of talent, particularly to start the season with Harden as well, was just off the charts, like nothing we've ever seen before. And that experiment of Harden, Durant, and Kyrie Irving lasted, do you know how many games they played together?
Not a lot.
Take a guess.
30.
16.
Oh, wow. Okay.
16 games the three of them played together. That did not work.
Yeah, that was a failed bit.
And it's going to be a failed bit again if Ben Simmons doesn't start playing some ball. It's my guess that Ben Simmons is waiting for like the right moment to come back. You don't want to throw Ben Simmons out there.
He doesn't. I know one game he won't debut.
The Philly game?
Yeah.
You got that right. Didn't say that 2 times.
He won't be. So how much capital did they give up to during the draft? Not the draft, but the recent trade deadline.
Like the Nets, in order to get Harden away? No, they did. They actually gained. I mean, yeah, they gained a couple of picks from Philadelphia, which was smart on their behalf. But, none of that helps them right now. I mean, Kevin Durant and his window with Kyrie Irving is not a forever thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, they're getting along now. and maybe Kyrie Irving's coming back really soon. And as you mentioned, Durant is getting healthy. But, Ben Simmons wasn't going to go play without those 2 guys on the floor alongside him, right? Like if in fact he's had mental difficulties, and I have no reason to believe that he hasn't, hell no, he's not going to go out there and carry a struggling Brooklyn Nets team that's already in danger of falling out of the playoffs by himself. That's not going to be the day to come back. You got to wait for Durant to get right. And then you got to wait for a game where Irving is available. And then if you're Simmons, you come back. There's a game coming up. I looked at the calendar like a week ago and I've forgotten by now, but there's a game at Madison Square Garden coming up. And I would not be shocked at all if that's the Simmons return game.
It might be. What I hear you saying, it's basically right now a rudderless team that really no leader. I mean, I wouldn't consider Durant a leader. He's an incredible basketball player on the court, but he's not that in your face kind of guy. That's not who he is. Like Embiid or someone like that.
No, I mean, it was the tale from inside the Brooklyn Nets last season that really James Harden was their leader.
Yeah.
However, he's gone. So now what? Now who's going to be that guy? I'll tell you what, them having Patty Mills, if they ever do get right, them having Patty Mills is going to prove to be one of the most valuable moves they made.
Yeah.
So right now, the longest odds on the Nets for the finals, plus 800 with PointsBet.
They're still just plus 800?
Yep.
I mean, that shows you how much confidence people have that when they are whole, how good they actually are.
Here's surprising me. In that same book, Miami is only a plus 1,000.
Wait, so Miami's behind Brooklyn?
Which surprises me because that's for a young club, that's a pretty mature core of players.
Who talking about Miami?
Miami, yeah.
Miami's good.
Yeah.
And they are very experienced. I mean, Lowry, Butler, Bam is about as good a 3 as anybody's going to throw at you this side of Brooklyn, if they're right. No, I've watched Miami a lot this season. It will not surprise me one bit if they're in the NBA Finals. They are tough, and they roll together. Like, you see them when they're at road games, Andy. The bench is locked in. The vets way down on the bench are locked in. The rookies are locked in. Everybody seems like they're rowing in the same direction. And you can always tell the best teams and the teams with the best chemistry by how they roll on visitors' benches when they're out of town,
right?
And the whole arena is against them. And you can tell by watching them as visitors on their bench how collective they are. Right. And from day one, the Miami Heat have been, and they're rolling like they're on tour, like a rock band on tour. You know what I mean? And that means a lot. So do not discount the Miami Heat. I can't believe their odds are actually longer than the Nets.
Kind of amazing. Well, flipping over to the other side, the West Coast, how bad does Golden State miss Draymond Green right now?
Really bad. And if they don't get him back, they can just piss away the rest of the season because they're nothing without Draymond. Yeah. And that's real. I mean, no, he doesn't put up 30 a night.
Basically said as much the other day.
Did he, in fact? Yeah. And he's right. I mean, look, there's no replacement on that roster for Draymond Green. I mean, they can get some minutes from Kevin Looney. They can get a few minutes if he ever gets back from Wiseman. But I'm talking about a handful.
Right.
Okay. I mean, he's 19 years old. How much can you possibly get from him? You can substitute a few Kuminga minutes for Draymond Green minutes, but nobody can take the place of Draymond.
Yeah.
He's their defensive anchor. He's their defensive coach, and he's their de facto point guard on the other end. I mean, he's that good.
Yeah.
No, I think he's one of the most underappreciated athletes of his era.
Let's slide 300 miles down to the south and talk about, try not to laugh, Lakers.
Why? Because they're just a joke?
What's LeBron angry about? Anything this week?
Well, his team sucks. Did anybody see
that's his team?
It's true. You gotta sleep in the bed you made, right? Yeah. But did anybody see the video of LeBron just basically throwing his hands up when his teammates were missing shots left and right? Did y'all see this?
Well,
it was from last night.
I don't know whether it was last night's game or the previous game. It was almost the game of how many times can I throw the ball to the other team?
His team stinks. I mean, they just flat stink. They are in danger, by the way, of missing the play-in game.
Oh, they're very much in danger.
You want me to get that for you?
Yeah.
And
cool.
And we really need to
I got my non-alcoholic beer over here. You got what today?
Yeah, we'll unveil it. I didn't know I needed a screwdriver. This is one of the most entertaining parts of the show. Well, man, you're getting good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers right now are sitting at 9th in the Western Conference.
The Lakers are
and right behind them is Portland. Am I correct? Or is it New Orleans?
No, it's New Orleans. Well, it's New Orleans and Portland, 25 and 36.
So,
well, you know, we had talked about the bringing back the All-Star game with the old timers.
Oh,
maybe we just have the Lakers out there next year.
They're not far off. Okay. And the young people that they do have just aren't very good. They're not growing. I mean, I thought Taylor Horton-Tucker coming out of college was really going to be something. Iowa State, if I recall right. I thought he was really going to be something. Yeah. And he just hasn't matured. I mean, their best young player is Austin Reeves, who was undrafted from Oklahoma. And, you know, that says a lot right there. So if Portland and New Orleans can make a run here late, and with New Orleans, look, they're making a push and they're playing much better basketball.
They're saying Zion will be back soon. His foot is on the mend.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, until he hurts it again.
Also that.
I'll tell you what, when you're a basketball player and you're dealing with microfractures and foot related issues, that's not a good thing.
No, especially when you're 300 pounds like he is.
Who's the Ohio State center that
Greg Oden.
I mean, he just couldn't get past his fractured feet.
No, you're right. Well, bigs with bad feet and are like dogs that chase cars. You know what I mean? Yeah. They just don't last long.
That's true.
It is. Yeah, I mean, Bill Walton had bad feet. Yeah. Rick Smits had bad feet. The list goes a long way.
List.
Yeah. But so here's the thing. New Orleans is playing really well. And since they got CJ McCollum, they're a great team to watch. Like if you have League Pass, tune into them. They're exciting. And by the way, Antonio Daniels, you've probably never seen a Pelicans broadcast, have you? Antonio Daniels does their color. And he is good.
Is he?
Real good. I know AD this much, not a lot. Yeah. I like AD. I'm not saying this because I think he's cool and he's a former Spur. He is really good at color. He's not so great on NBA radio, by the way, where he hosts a show with Rick Kamla. Not so good there, but his color commentating, I should say, is excellent. Excellent. It's usually him and Joel Myers. It's really a great broadcast. New Orleans is gunning. Okay.
Sean Elliott?
I like Sean, but AD's better.
Really?
I think so.
I didn't say that, Sean. He did.
I'm just giving. I'm not trying to put Sean down. Yeah. I'm trying to bring AD up. Well, AD's good.
He's not Hall of Famer X. Sorry.
No, but I will tell you this: if you took Reggie Miller, who is the worst color commentator in the league, out of that booth and put Antonio Daniels in, they'd have a better broadcast. And, you know, that's something else we got to get to today, by the way.
What about Phoenix?
The broadcaster wars.
Yeah, that's true.
God bless. I should have stuck with play-by-play. Anyway, what were you saying?
What about Phoenix?
Well, Phoenix isn't probably going to go anywhere. I mean, they built themselves such a lead before the All-Star break when Chris Paul was healthy that now not having him for 6 weeks, I mean, they're not going to drop a 7-game gap over the second seed.
Yeah.
I especially with Golden State, kind of floundering the way they are.
Right.
The bigger threat, and I think we all know it, and they know it, is Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies.
You went off on the Spurs.
Did you see that?
Crazy.
He's insane.
He reminded me of secret Hall of Famer X, who we're going to try to get on the show.
What
Those numbers.
Well, the guy he reminds me of, and I know it's not the same guy. I'm sorry, Bob. I know it's not the same guy we're having on, is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you that last week. He's got a lot of Jordan qualities, like early Jordan, like 86, 87 Jordan, like where he just does things in the air that, shoot, man, people his size, they just can't do it.
Yeah.
that last second, what was it, end of the first half?
Yeah.
The inbound pass from the opposite side, catches in the air, turns in the air, shoots in the air, nothing but net.
That was, and his dunk on Pirtle just a couple minutes before that was so gnarly, like it made your hair stand up. Kind of made you make a stink face like the one you're making right now, Bob. Like, ooh.
He's
And like,
up a
he took
street ball
off.
highlights in
Look, that might be the damn dunk of the year. Okay. He took off at 2 feet, and look where he takes off from in that highlight. It's way outside the restricted area. Way outside it.
Are you able to pull that? We'll see if we can pull it.
Not for a while.
And
No worries.
that might be the dunk of the year.
So
And it was his second best play of the quarter, because Bob's right. The 94-foot pass from Steven Adams, and Ja goes up to get it. And mind you, a 94-foot pass with a basketball is carrying momentum.
Right.
You got to stop all that gas that's coming your way in midair. And it was curving because it was a right-handed pass, and it's got a right-handed curve on it, taking him away from the basket. He catches, readjusts in midair in, I believe, 0.4 of a second, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And guts it. Just
Crazy.
guts it. Like, I'm telling you, that was maybe the most athletic play I've seen in a decade in that league, full of the best athletes.
Yeah.
There aren't 5 guys I've ever watched that could have caught that and made that shot.
So your Roy this year is?
Rookie of the year. So I don't think I'm going to get any pushback on this, but the kid from USC at Cleveland has played awesome. He's the real deal. I mean, he looks like a young Tim Duncan, if I'm being honest. Yeah. And I think he's going to run away with it.
Your MVP.
That's just impossible at this juncture to say. I mean, I think the whole world was saying it was basically a 2-horse race, Embiid and Jokic, for months. Giannis is trying to creep his way into the conversation. I think Chris Paul was in the conversation before he got hurt.
Yeah, what a resurrection.
I think DeMar DeRozan deserves at least a mention.
Where was that guy when he was here?
He's the same guy. He's just with a better team.
Do you think he felt constrained under Pop?
I think he's the exact same guy. And he has a better teammate, a better number 2 in Zach LaVine.
When we had 13 seconds on the line and we needed that game-winning shot, he wasn't that guy.
He wasn't that guy. I think I do think it helps a lot that he has Zach LaVine.
Do we want to see the dunk?
I do want to see the dunk.
Walker, rebound by Adams, his 6th. Morant blows by Primo.
Look where he takes off. One more time.
6th. Morant
That's
blows by Primo. Attack.
Oh, that's nasty.
So where does he take off from? What amount of feet are we talking about there?
Oh, look.
It's like 13 feet from the rim. He's at the lane line, way outside the dotted line.
Attack!
I'm sorry, but that's just bananas.
Oh my God! Can you, just the sound of it going through the rim?
Who was the guy that got the facial?
Pirtle.
His feet should have never left the ground. He should have just tried to take the charge.
Pirtle is huge. He's 7'1".
I know, but he could have taken a charge.
Ja Morant is 6'4".
He tried to jump and block. He just keeps his feet down.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's nasty.
That's on your mom.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just nothing. There's no other way to put it.
That guy's mom and the rest of his family is going, hey, how do we disown this guy?
Like his ancestors are like, we don't even know him.
That was nasty.
So let's see. We did Evan Mobley for Rookie of the Year. We were talking MVP.
Yeah.
The new guy is Ja Morant. I mean, he has to be in that conversation. Mm-hmm. Steph Curry was the guard that was being considered, but frankly, they've fallen off. And so as he is not shot well for 2 months, I don't think he can be that MVP candidate that he was a couple of months ago. If Ja Morant's team gets to the 1 seed, it becomes a Derrick Rose with the Bulls type of season, where he got the MVP. And a lot of people say he stole that from LeBron, but whatever. He deserved it. He earned it. He got it. I mean, look, right now, my MVP is Embiid, okay? But I reserve judgment. I want to see his last 20 games. Yep. Because if Morant's team goes 17-3 and somehow eclipses the Suns for number 1 in the West,
right?
Forget it. It's Morant.
Well, you're our NBA expert. Put on your crystal ball. Put on your sneakers and grab your crystal ball and NBA Finals.
It's hard to bet against Milwaukee in the East. There's a lot of numbers that say that they're just not the team they were a year ago, but it's hard to bet against them. I'll take the Sixers from the East, and I'll take the Suns from the West.
Interesting.
I think the Suns win Chris Paul's healthy. I think they're the best team in the league.
So you have them winning the
I
NBA,
do.
The Suns.
I do.
Okay.
Well, Bet MGM will give you the best odds, plus 700 on the Sixers.
Mark that.
To win or to make the finals?
To win.
Yeah. And what about the Suns?
Plus 450.
Yeah. Are they the favorites?
They're co-favorites. Actually, BetMGM has Golden State at plus 450 as well.
I'm not seeing it. Not unless Draymond comes back and is really, truly 100%.
Well, for a cold non-alcoholic beverage, I'll take the Sixers.
Nice.
All right, we'll see what happens. Well, let's move right along. Bob, you want to talk a little bit about the Major League Baseball strike? Any new developments?
Oh, you mean the absolute... Sorry, I can't say bad words. The absolute feces fest that is Major League Baseball.
Fest, I like that.
Dumpster fire.
It's
cluster.
So
it is.
Yep. What frustrates me about it is they're not that far away from each other, and by canceling the first 2 series of games, they've almost made it harder and put the sides further apart. Because the players aren't going to agree to an expanded playoff if they're not going to get paid for a full 162 game season. They're not.
Yeah.
So we need a deal by this weekend and some sort of makeup to make up those first 6 or 7 games that have just been canceled.
So
or pay the players 162 games.
Are the owners going to blink? Are they going to give in to the union demands? What are some of the union demands, if you know what all?
Well, So on minimum salary, management says 700,000 minimum salary. Players Association wants 725, moving up to 765 by 2025, which I don't think is unreasonable.
That is such a small margin. I mean, can't they just find a number in the middle and STFU about it? Like, did you just say they're $25,000 apart?
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, that's like a rounding error.
Write a check, Bob. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah. The competitive balance tax, I'm not familiar enough with this, but I have a problem with the fact that we actually did the computation a little bit earlier today. A Major League Baseball team can spend as little as $15.8 million on their roster and not be in trouble for it. There is no
and therein
salary
lies some of the
floor.
problem we were talking about. There almost has to be a minimum floor and then a minimum ceiling, because
and
talk about that revenue sharing where they made the two lowest teams. Their revenue share was more than. What were you telling me about that before the show?
I'm not sure about what y'all were talking about before the show, but I can tell you that that's the way the Florida Marlins have operated for years under Jeffrey Loria and now.
Oh yeah,
Cheaters.
There's 4 teams: the Pirates, the Rays, the Marlins, and there's one other team. Oh, the Cleveland Guardians, because they changed their name. Spend less on payroll than they get in revenue share.
There you go.
So they have no interest in fielding a good team. They don't have to.
No, they're making money.
They're profitable by fielding crap.
Well, I mean,
and it doesn't care how many fans are in the stands.
It's terrible.
It's quite timely because I was sitting in bed and flipping through the channels and Major League was on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful, Cleveland. Y'all might become that.
But
I honestly, I have to go back to my original argument on this when we started talking about this 2 weeks ago. Why do we care? I mean, baseball is the girlfriend that we all loved a million years ago when we were in first grade through sixth grade, she was beautiful and she was friendly to us back then, who basically since puberty has told all of us that she doesn't want to have anything to do with us.
I know.
That she's not that great. She's aged poorly. She's ugly now.
See, and that's the problem. My problem right now with this whole labor kerfuffle is let's get past this and get to fixing the bloody game. Fixing what's wrong with the game.
They're so arrogant, they don't even think they have anything wrong with their game.
There's anything wrong. And there's major problems, and I love the game. And that's it hurts.
Well, if you're an owner,
I love it like you love basketball. So if you can imagine,
I think you're underestimating my love for baseball. I loved baseball. I mean, it was my first love. I mean, I could give you stats from teams from the 60s, for God's sakes, 20 years before I was born.
If baseball was a 50-year high school reunion and the high school sweetheart came back, what does baseball have to do to get you back?
Dude, she's got to clean up her act. I mean, really, we mentioned this last week. Pitch clock, got to happen. I mean, the length of these games has got to be shortened. Mm-hmm. We've got to figure out a way where it's not just home run or strikeout. I don't know how that happens, but we need base running back in the sport. Mm-hmm. Because the beauty of baseball, as a friend of mine eloquently described many years ago to me, is that at the crack of the bat on a ball hit to, we'll just say right field, and a runner's at first, you have to simultaneously keep one eye on the ball being fielded by the right fielder as a fan, and another eye on the runner leaving first, getting to second, rounding, making that decision on whether to turn for third base or not, as the right fielder is gloving it and bringing it to his gun, which every right fielder has. And then say the runner goes, you're flashing back and forth between the runner's advancement towards third base and the ball being beamed from right field over the second baseman's head towards the third baseman. And that is the beauty of the game. It is. Right there.
It's a thinking man's game.
It is not watching balls fly out of the park.
I know.
And that's,
I agree.
And that's why.
But that's how they. And today you were talking about we're a dying breed, and the young kids just aren't picking it up. They want Jerome, the kid we saw in the highlight dunking.
Ja Morant.
Yeah, and that's what the kids now want. The jack ball, the wiffle ball game where it's 25-21. Reds beat the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, but when you have, 3 or 4 minutes between action in baseball, it's slow by its very nature. Even if you fix the game to my enjoyment, it's still going to be a slow game. It's built that way. It's not basketball, but it can be more exciting. To your point, Jeff, when I was growing up, The National League, for me, was where it was at.
Agreed.
That's where you had run production. That's where you did things to generate runs.
Dodgers,
That's right.
Reds.
Hit and run baseball, stolen bases.
Yep.
Those great Cardinals teams with Willie McGee and Vince Coleman.
Oh, I hate the Cardinals.
I didn't like them. I was a Cubs fan. I hated them. But you can't say they weren't fun to watch.
Of course.
No.
Defensive Ozzie Smith, base running of Vince Coleman and Willie McGee.
And for God's sakes, they let a pitcher pitch 7 innings.
Yeah, that's the other thing
That's
that we
another
talked
thing that
about
slowed
the
the
other
game
day
down.
was, we need pitching limitation.
Well, we had dinosaurs who didn't understand math running the teams back then.
And it was
This
better.
analytics crap.
And it was better.
It was better when you bunted over a runner from first to second. It was better.
I mean, the king of over analytics, Dusty Baker. I'm sorry. Watch a Dusty Baker coached game, and it's just freaking ridiculous.
Oh, he'll go 8 pitchers.
It's,
I mean,
yeah.
He will. And lots of the managers will. Look, baseball has a problem, and it's on many levels. And another thing that they can't solve, it's just inherent, it's intrinsic with the sport, is that it's really crappy to gamble on. Football is easy. It lends itself to it.
I get
Basketball is easy. It lends itself to it. Baseball, not very easy to gamble.
You almost have to go over unders and skip the who's going to win and what they're going to cover.
But if you're an owner and you're hearing this, baseball is broken, blah, 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 owners, the owners look at you and go, my revenues are up.
Yeah.
My average salary is down, which means my costs are down. I'm making bank. What are you talking about?
I understand. And they can sleep on that bed of cash for as long as they want. But eventually that cash cow is going to die.
They're Scrooge McDuck.
They kind of are. Jeff Passan, who I think we all kind of like in this room, we read a quote of his last week. He said something else this week that I thought was interesting, and I'm not going to get it verbatim, but it was something to the effect of, if the players held out and we all watched baseball with the next 1,500 best players on earth, the game wouldn't be as good, but it would go on and we would still be interested.
Mm-hmm.
If the 30 owners weren't around and we replaced them with the next 30 best owners, the game would be better.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fact.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Hopefully they'll get it done. I still love to go to minor league games because I can literally sit right here and right where Bob's at is first base, and I'm watching Major League Baseball.
Field trip. If we get baseball, let's go see the Missions.
Oh, I pretty much go every week when they're in town.
Watching live baseball is just a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't sit and watch an entire baseball game on my couch.
But sometimes it even gets tough sitting in the stands.
I'm happy to be in the stands.
Yeah, but around 7th inning, I'm like, damn, it's been a long
It's a long game. Yeah.
They got to do something. Shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk more about March Madness next week.
Good.
It's coming
you see
up.
this right here?
Yeah.
Baylor.
Baylor.
Is that your sleeper? Your dark
I
horse?
didn't mean to point at Baylor. I meant to point over there. Whoops. I got that backwards.
What are we, Purdue?
Purdue.
Have y'all watched them a little bit?
Have you watched Baylor?
I've watched Baylor.
They're
Yeah.
not bad either.
They're both very good.
Yeah.
The Purdue game the other night against Wisconsin, where Purdue couldn't quite pull it out on the road at Wisconsin. That was last night, now that I think of it. Did anybody watch Jaden Ivey? Because he's going to be available right in that Spurs range for drafting. And he has, because the name has come up a million times already tonight, he has some Ja Morant to his game. He is lightning fast.
Mark that Spurs personnel.
Bouncy. So, I love Jaden Ivey.
There's a kid from Memphis. I can't remember his name. He's got an NBA body.
I know who you're talking about.
An NBA body.
He's going in the lottery.
Oh, my goodness. And I don't know his name, but you can just look at certain players.
I do, if you let me think about it. I know the kid. He's good.
I think his last name begins with an E, but 4 letters. But I just tuned into a little bit of the game, and I said, this kid's got the body, man.
Oh, he's the real deal.
And he's just...
Yeah.
So
he's going to be a lottery pick.
Well,
and Baylor has a lottery pick. And honestly, if Jaden Ivey... I'm going to be surprised if Jaden Ivey doesn't go number 2.
Let's
Very
speak about
surprised.
a former lottery pick.
Go
Who's, what do you do with him? Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing? I don't know. What do I need to do with Patrick Ewing?
Well,
Did I miss a story?
His Georgetown team is 0-17.
Oh, in the Big East.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are they really?
Yes.
Oh man, I did not know that.
Do you bump him up to president of?
He needs, yeah.
It's the only way to get him off the bench because you cannot fire Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing,
you cannot fire him.
Patrick Ewing has had an interesting journey. He wanted to coach in the NBA really badly.
And now we're finding out why he couldn't.
And for some reason, and maybe it's what we're finding out now, nobody believed in him. And he wanted to be on a bench. And, he basically begged his way onto an NBA bench at one point and began to work his way up. But Ewing didn't get the treatment like Larry Bird got,
Right.
or like Isaiah Thomas got years before that.
Right.
Like, people just did not believe in his coaching ability. And when he landed at Georgetown, I thought, well, this is it. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
He takes the place of John Thompson, big dude.
Mm-hmm.
He can kind of do this. It's going to really resonate here in Georgetown. And I went to their rival, George Washington, across town. Not even really across town.
He definitely didn't have the Deion Sanders effect, did he?
He did not. He had the opposite of that.
Yep.
I did not realize they were that bad. I'm glad you brought that to my attention.
Yeah, I just noticed it, and
God. Well, I feel for him. Patrick Ewing's one of the cool people on the planet.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have ever interviewed him, but Patrick Ewing's a nice dude.
Yeah.
I feel for him.
But you can't fire him.
Yeah, and he is
You could promote him to president.
You need
and
to
get him off the bench.
Fire by promotion.
And just for the record, he is not Basketball Hall of Famer X, who I'm trying to get on the show.
Too bad. I'd like to have Patrick Ewing.
But if we can
That'd
get
be cool.
There's an athlete out there that just made $8 million this year and didn't play. Well, he played one tournament. Do you know who that is?
He made $8 million, and he only played in one tournament.
Played in one golf tournament.
Is this Brett?
Oh, you said golf tournament.
Golf.
Was that Tiger?
Yeah. He won some new award called the PIP Award, I guess it is.
Oh, yeah.
And what's funny is Mickelson had tweeted that he had won it a couple weeks ago because he was a runaway. And then there's nothing to hearten people's hearts like having a young son out there playing golf with you. And after Tiger and Charlie went out and played, the fans flipped and Tiger picked up $8 million.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Not that he needs it. Hope he does something cool with it.
I like the Tiger after all his crap happened.
It's
The Tiger we have right now is actually somebody I would like to spend time with.
Yep.
Well, life has a way of kind of humbling you after a while.
Doesn't it, though? And it certainly did to Tiger.
But,
and he has changed.
Think about what he went through he was a prodigy. He was in the public eyes since he was on, Johnny Carson at 4 years old. So you just can't imagine what it'd be like having money, women, everything thrown at you. I'd probably be dead if I'd been Tiger. Stupid as I was.
I can understand that.
No, even now I could probably be dead if I was. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. Do you think Charlie will win a major? Is he a professional golfer?
I talked about this on this show the very first night I came on. What odds would you get at a casino for Charlie Woods, Tiger's son, for those of you all not following along, to win a major?
That'd be cool.
Like what would a sports book put that at? Any guesses?
Actually, I think it would be lower than you think.
Give me a guess.
25-1.
Oh God, no! It'd be about 10,000.
It's that kid looks pretty freaking good.
It's this 10,000.
This is an old article. This is.
I'm telling you, even if you're out there on the PGA Tour and you are in the field,
this is
at a major. You would be 10,000 to 1.
This is 14 months ago. This is December 21, 2020. Golf Digest.
Okay.
According to sportsbettingdime.com, I don't bet there, so I don't know them. 825 to 1 to win a major by the age of 25.
No way.
Okay, that's different.
Wow.
I said to win a major, I didn't put an age stipulation.
Well, that's
pretty
their
high.
odds.
Nonetheless.
So who's going to have a better PGA career, Charlie or Daly's kid?
Charlie.
It's Charlie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So throw that out there.
Charlie's going to light the world on
Tell you
fire.
what, that kid, he's
good.
It's fun watching
He's
that little
good.
kid play.
He
man.
would kick my butt, and
Oh
I'm
my
pretty
God.
damn good.
And let me tell you, Hall of Fame player X,
Mm-hmm.
who we might get on the show.
Oh, X, so it's Xavier McDaniel.
No. Is a really good golfer.
Mm.
So just let you know that.
Man, you got me stumped.
Anything else we want to talk about tonight, kids?
We talked a little bit in the pre-show about the Russian athletes getting hosed, the individual athletes getting hosed.
That's kind of a drag. I hate when sports and
Politics collide.
bleed.
Yeah.
And, I'm okay with them not having events in Russia as a form of protest. But when you start sanctioning athletes who are just unfortunate enough to be run by, they live in a country with a madman, I mean.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. As long as there isn't institutional cheating, which oftentimes,
that's
particularly with Russians, those two things go hand in hand.
Not so much with NHL players or things like that. They've even got a video game now with Russian players. I'd written it down. They're taking them out of the video game.
I see that's a little much,
That's a little much. And I'm a Formula One fan. I love Formula One, and Mazepin from the Haas Racing is not going to be able to race until this is over. They're telling him no. Which I think is a bit much.
That's too much.
Is he backed by oligarchs?
No.
Well, that was going to be my next question.
No.
Is he in bed with Putin somehow?
No, Haas Racing is already, they have a few Russian sponsors that they've already removed from the car. They removed those sponsors' color schemes and everything. It's just, but they're benching. They're benching.
I know the
Mazepin.
Chelsea soccer owner.
Yeah, Abramovich.
He's got to sell his team. He's forced to.
Really?
I don't know all the details.
Here's the thing. If you're a Russian oligarch and you own Chelsea, one, you have sanctions, so your Russian money is kind of going a little.
Yeah.
And you're being forced to sell Chelsea, which is going to represent hard British currency. Throw me in that frying pan.
Yeah, for real. I'm surprised they're making him sell the team. Wow. I got to read up on that.
It's a deep subject. Hopefully everything will be resolved soon. Until then, guys.
Go Ukraine.
Keep in touch with To The Max Sports. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. And until next week, we'll see you then, okay?
Okay, and we are out.
Oh.